Let's continue by adding a few tests that make sure that the validation of the blog post admin controller works correctly. And to refresh your memory, there are a couple of fields that are required. Let's go to the update blog post request. These fields are required. So let's write a test for that. Let's create a new test. It validates required fields on the post edit form. Let's give it a function. And the first thing that we are going to do is new up a post. We are going to make a request to that post. We are going to leave this one empty, and this mimics that we aren't filling in the form at all. So now the data is an empty array, and using the assert session has errors, you can assert that there are form errors. And if you leave it like this, then it will pass if there is any error, but you could also make it a little bit more specific by filling in the required fields here. So title, author, body, date, like that. And if I run this test, then it should pass, and it fails. Let's take a look. Session is missing expected key errors. So we expected errors, but there were none. I know why this is. This is probably because we're not logged in and we're not getting any errors because we get redirected to the home page. So let's log in. Let's try again, and now we get green. Now you might think that testing this might be a little bit overkill, and you might be right, but I think that it is quite nice to have this in place. So if you accidentally in refactoring forget to make one of these fields required, then your test will catch that. So now we are missing an error title. Let's make it back green, like that. And let's head back to our test. Let's also make sure that if we give the expected fields, that the session has no errors. So that's also an assertion that you can make. We need to pass in some data. Let's steal this one, like that. Maybe change this on there, format it a little bit, and run the test again, and it passes. And if we forget something here, then we get red. Make it pass again, and it's green. Let's maybe add one more test to get you feel what is possible in these kind of tests. And in that test, we are going to make sure that the date format is being validated. So let's create a test for that. It will validate the date format on the edit blog post screen, like that. Function. How did I name it here? On the post edit form. So I'm also going to name it that way here, the post edit form. So we are going to create a post and log in again. We are going to create a request like that. We're going to keep the title the same. So we're just going to give it the current title of the post. And in post format, we are going to give a date in a different format. So maybe just the 1st of January of this year. And we are going to assert that the session has errors. Assert session has errors. Let's try to run this test. We get green. Now let's make it a little bit more specific. So here we can pass in an array of fields of which we expect an error in the session. Okay, that works. And we can make it more specific by making this an associative array. And now we can pass in the expected validation message here. So if I run this, then it will fail because this is not the message that we're expecting. To quickly see the validation message that is being returned, you can dump the session. So dump session. And if I run the test now, we should see the content of the session here. So this is the old input. Here's the error back. And this is the error message. The date does not match the format. So let's copy this, put it in there. Let's remove dump and rerun the test. And now we get green. If this message isn't right, we get red. Okay, that all works. So there is one more thing that I would like to do in this video, and that is clean up the tests a little bit. Notice that we are creating a post model before each test. Now in PEST, we can add a before each function, and this one will be called before each function executes. So what we can do here is just move this code there, and you might not expect that this works, but it does work. You can set the post as an instance variable. So I can remove this here, and here I can do this post slug. Here I can do that as well, this post slug. Here I can remove it as well. Post, 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 post. This, let's use the instance variable. Let's remove it here as well. Post, post, post. Like that. Let's save the file. Let's run each of the tests, and they all pass. So in before each, you can put the code that needs to be run before each test.